Well, well, well. Operation Matriarchy. Where to begin? Everything was wrong. Alright, fair enough, that's maybe a bit strong. So, after having a bit of a sit down, thinking about it, and just generally trying to mull over where necessarily the blame needs to fall, or should fall, if it does need to fall, I'm still having a hard time actually working out how this game managed to ship with the problems it had without the company just patching it. It just seems like all that happened was the game was released, fuck all post-game support, and then the community who actually played it went, right, we've probably got to try and fix this ourselves. And it's just mind-boggling that because the thing is, my experience with the game was with the patch active, with the added sound effects and music. Imagine how unbelievably just detached that would have been if there hadn't even been that. I mean, my primary criticism of Operation Matriarchy, and the thing is, I wanted to do a structured review of this, but I think it's just going to be a bit of a fucking rant, really. I've just never ended a game and just gone, like I've just wanted to reach this on my hard drive with a sanitised sponge and just scrub it out. It doesn't feel like it was an incompetently put together game because everything functions, but there was no polish, there was no finesse, there was no afterthought in a lot of what went in. Naturally, I mean, the weapon and monster designs, fair enough, you probably had a general idea of what you wanted to go for, but there was no theme. The alien only was weird and bioorganic, but again, there wasn't any sense of it being like, was it an organism? Did it mesh with your body? Was it just made in some kind of artistic sense? And when you go into the side of the alien structures, again, there's no sense of, these are like this for a reason. It's, ooh, look at this weird fucking alien architecture. There never seemed to be a cohesive idea behind the game. Now, fair enough, maybe they just wanted to make a first-person shooter. Cool. Awesome. But even if you're not necessarily that interested in doing that side of things, the inconsistency of a lot of the design also was a problem. The fact that when you were going through alien architecture again, it would just keep switching, and the lighting would change, and the colouring would change, and there would be no reason as to why, unless they literally did it to differentiate between areas. And if that's the case, fucking hell, there are better ways of helping guide the player through a level. Because, I mean, god. Sorry, this is barely even a review, this is just me kind of snarling and burbling down the microphone. Oh god. So, yes, let's try and dial us all back. So Operation Matriarchy starts off with the most just for fuck's sake why kind of opening plot kind of thing of you are Fabio von Richtenstein and you awaken your cryo chamber / tanning bed, and the Velians, these aliens who apparently the only sentient side are female and the male side are just used as bioorganic machinery because let's not bother exploring that, have started shooting you guys because reasons. Because they're aliens and therefore not nice. Oh, that always just fucks me over. But anyway, and it's not even necessarily that there's like a lot at stake. It's like we hear that the Admiral's daughter's been kidnapped. We hear that there are these colonists that are under threat. We never see any of that. We just see one or two dead Marines around certain levels to give you an indication that other ones were here and died. There never was a sense of stake. I mean, to be fair, there was probably audio assets that were intended to be there, or maybe they were just the video, or were just the log files. So, I mean, they were I think the video files, or whatever they were supposed to be, maybe there was supposed to be a bit more kind of interaction going on in there, but for the most part, it was just run through here, shoot the men's, and just keep going. I never felt any kind of drive, I never felt like I was actually exploring, I just felt it was like, right, find where this checkpoint's supposed to be, now find where this checkpoint's supposed to be, because they were only marked on the minimap, not in the actual game. So when I was walking around, I'd get lost so fucking frequently, because we're like, so have I got to go up and then down, or have I got to go back the way that I came, or is there a new pathway? There was no visual cue to tell me which way to go, apart from an occasional cutscene which goes, back over here! But due to lack of any kind of directional sense on my part, or good design on the game's part, I would often not recognise where that fucking place was. So, yay, awesome, that was fun. And you know what, fuck it, let's go straight into it. So, the lack of sound, I mean, I've never really considered it to be something, I mean, I've always enjoyed good sound design, good music, good effects, good voice acting. All of that is really important. However, I've never experienced a game which so glaringly misses it. I've never played a game without the sound effects to be like, or not even that, but I've never played a game with so just like the heart and soul taken out of it. And I mean, even this game, if it had been produced well, would have at least had a bit of a soul to it. But without without decent sounding weapons, without a decent sounding soundtrack, without any kind of, I mean, the generic goddamn screams of the aliens, it all felt like it was just stock template stuff thrown in there to fill a gap, rather than something which had any thought put behind it. Just so bad. I can still hear the sound the aliens make, and it's just the same. And that fucking knife, the first time I was playing around with it, and I just poked the knife on the thing, and it was the same sound for every texture you put it into. I think I've said it actually during the Let's Play. I said, I really miss Vivisector now that I'm playing this, and I so do, because that was a perfect example of a really imaginative group of people working on a very tight budget to make an interesting game. They didn't have a huge amount of resources, they weren't making something that was going to blow Crysis out of the water, but they made a very fun little game. Operation Matriarchy is like you took that entire situation, but you removed all the enthusiasm from it, and you went, no, fuck it, let's do a boilerplate space shooter, see what happens. And no, it just didn't really pan out. In regards to the actual Let's Play as well, I was genuinely expecting this to be way more, you know, when it said Operation Matriarchy, I was like, oh god, is there going to be some kind of horrible lowbrow humour of beating up semi-naked No, not even that. They couldn't even be bothered to go for the lowest common denominator. It was literally, they are weird female type things in fetish wear with machine guns strapped to them, and that was about it. It felt like they'd kind of heard of the idea of titillating female aliens, but they'd never actually seen it executed successfully. So you were left with something which was kind of like, I'm looking at the box art for Operation Matriarchy now, and it's kind of like, you can see what they were going for in that, like, it's figure hugging and all this shit, but it's not one thing or the other. You either make them inhuman, or you make them, I don't know, kind of in an exploitative way, again, kind of sexy human. I don't know. I expected more. Although, to be fair, the Russian title for this was just Velian, which, I swear to God, I don't know why they didn't use that, because Operation Matriarchy, no fucking sense that does make. I'm turning into fucking Yoda, I'm so annoyed at this. Oh, Jesus Christ, I've just realised they've made another game set inside the same universe. Oh, I'm going to play that as well, aren't I? Oh, God. I feel like I owe it to myself to just inflict some more horror onto myself. But, yes, I'm surprised that a community actually got together to try and salvage this game. Because, I mean, even if we take the whole sound design out of the window, all the game mechanics that I found there were incredibly underwhelming. There was a reasonable spectrum of weaponry, there was a reasonable spectrum of enemies, but they all just went along the same lines of you shoot them until they fall over. There's no dodging, there's no sense that you're actually having to employ any kind of tactic to actually outfox them. It's a simple matter of you stand there, like the final fucking boss, spoilers by the way, I just stood there and shot her in the face and didn't take any damage. That's either incredibly poorly designed gameplay, or you just didn't care at that point and you just wanted it to be fucking over, because God knows I did. And breathe. Right. So, yes, I just felt hugely underwhelmed by almost every aspect of this game. Just everything felt like a chore. Just everything felt like it was lacking someone coming in afterwards and going, well, that would be better if we did this. And they just went, nah, fuck it, ship it. Half the file's corrupted. Who gives a shit? Ship it. It's, ugh. Like, even the little things, like when the, text log comes up just to show you what the conversation's been at that point. There wasn't even a filter across the back of that window so you could pick out what was actually there. That's why I kept having to turn to a dark side of the screen and go, this is what it says. And I've got to hold down the fucking tab bar. It's like little things like that which would have taken almost no time at all to actually implement. Just never really seemed to be worth it. I mean, I never felt any distinction, really, when I was in a mech suit, apart from the fact that we were very slow to start up and you could switch between certain weapons. I mean, that was honestly, I think, the most thought they'd ever put into that game in general, was when they're in the mech, they can change different, they can change their weaponry setouts. which makes no sense because why would you not have all of them on? Although I suppose to conserve ammunition at some points. But even then, it's like, especially I was on medium difficulty and some of those things were massive bullet sponges, so there's no tactical benefit to that. It's not like you're switching between heat seekers and chain guns for any kind of different type of combat. They all do the shooty thing and the people fall down. There's no extra complexity to it. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much sums up the whole game as a standpoint. You fire the gun, the man falls down, game over. This game is for masochists who just want a first-person shooter, but also hate themselves and want to experience who want to experience that feeling of waiting for a job interview and then, as time goes by, slowly realising you've actually completely forgotten half the stuff you were going to say at the interview and you're the next person in line, and now you've realised that you haven't actually coordinated your shirt with your trousers and you look like a fucking idiot, and then you piss yourself and die. I don't know. I completely fell of that. But anyway, yes, so I would rate this as a, oh god, just fire it into the fucking sun out of 10, and I will probably, now that I've said that, they're probably actually go and do it because I hate myself quite that much. Echelon, the next game over. In fact, you know what? Let's actually hold on a second. I'm just going to click this link. Let's see what we got. Echelon is a 3D science fiction flight simulator. Oh Jesus! Designed by Russian developers Madia. It involves flying futuristic fighters in combat scenarios. The game can be played locally or on a local area network with up to 32 players. The Russian version of the game is called Storm. Plot of the first-person shooter game Operation Matriarchy takes place in the same general universe as Echelon. What? The general universe. Didn't want to get too close, but was like, alright, maybe we will. Oh god, there's a sequel for that as well. Jesus Christ. Oh. I think this got one of the worst. It's got worst game award for 2001. Oh, this is going to be fun. Alright, fair enough. So, we will leave it at that, and I will be back with more. Hard West, I believe, is up next, and I am immensely looking forward to that, because I need more Weird West firefights in my life. So yes, thank you very much for listening to me just belligerently ramble on for about 12 odd minutes, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.